We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. This is a question. If an emotional energy in the form of desire or mood is not allowed to express, what happens? If an emotional desire or mood becomes exhilarating for us, and if we do not express it, outwardly, thus this energy goes back to the source and make the person fresh and energetic. When an emotional energy or mood becomes exhilarating, there are two ways to express it: outwardly or not. If it is not allowed to express outwardly, does it go back to its source and make the person fresh and energetic? Not necessarily this happens. But if you are aware, then it is so. Then it can happen. Any energy needs roots to move. And no energy can be destroyed. It can only be transformed. Energy is indestructible. You cannot destroy it in any form, any way. Only its form can change. Any energy needs roots to move. Without the root, it cannot move. Energy is nourishment, and no energy can be destroyed because it is indestructible. It can only change into different forms. It can never become zero or finished. So when you try to suppress any energy, you are doing absolute nonsense to yourself when you are suppressing it. When you try to suppress any energy, you are doing absolute nonsense to yourself, because energy cannot be suppressed. You try to suppress it, it changes its form. It can only be transformed. It can only be transformed. The suppressed energy becomes cancerous. That's why there are so many diseases in the body. They are expression of suppressed energy. When the energy is not allowed to dispense or move freely, for instance, if you eat food every day, the food is energy. This energy goes into the process of digestion, and in the digestion many things happen. The entire process, if somebody's digestion is not proper, there is a problem in that. For whatever reason, the food is not digested properly, then you get the belching, you get this, you get all kind of things. The gases and different things are formed. So in the process of digestion, the food that you have eaten, consumed, undergoes a process where its energy is transformed. It goes into the different forms, nutrients, and those nutrients mix with oxygen and goes to the different parts of the body and energize it. Energy cannot be suppressed, it can only be transformed. A suppressed energy becomes cancerous or disease. If you feel anger, there are two ordinary routes available for it. Either express it or suppress it. If you express it, then it becomes a chain, because then you create anger in the other person. It becomes a chain reaction. The anger is there in you, you express it on to someone. Your boss in the office has said something to you, so you are angry. You cannot say anything to the person, so you express it to your wife. Wife cannot say anything to you because she is dependent on you for finance and other things. She expresses it on her child. The child expresses it on the toys. So it's a chain reaction. In Zen, it is said, when there is anger in you, go and pull the water from the well, or go and chop the wood. So what you are doing, you have discontinued the chain reaction. You are expressing that energy, which could become a chain reaction of anger in you. So it goes, where does it go? It expresses itself. You are using it in creative manner. You are chopping the wood in the forest because that is needed. If you have anything else, you can go to the gym and do exercises. So chopping of the wood is a kind of a muscle oriented exercise. You can go and do the jogging. You can go and do some work. You can go and take a run around the area and come back. There are two routes are available. One is to express it or suppress it. Express now again can be in different ways. You can express it in a way that it becomes a chain reaction. But when you are going to the gym and you are expressing your anger and you are doing the workout, what it is going to happen? It is the number one, the chain reaction is cut off, and it will energize you, it will burn your fat, because you are doing more jogging, you are doing more push-ups, you are more doing walking on the treadmill, or whatsoever be the way that you want to express it. Because then you create anger in the first place. You create anger. Your boss created anger in you because you had no choice but to tolerate it. You express it now here with your wife or your husband. It is easy to express it. So you express it there. The wife or the son expresses it towards the younger ones, to the children. If you express it, then it becomes a chain, because then you create anger in the other person, and who will in turn express it. There is no end to it. And then you will express it, and it can continue for years and years. And that is what the suppressed anger is. Many times we say things which are not needed there. A situation is very trivial. What we say, we bring out all the cremated things from the cemetery. This continues. This is how everyone is living. It goes on and on. Those who know deeply, they say that for lives also, for lives together, it goes on and on. Some are born, they have an angry approach. You have been angry with a person in your past life. Yesterday you was angry, like simple thing. You were in the office in the morning. So the anger came into you, was expressed to you, and a chain reaction, it came into you. You did not have any time to express it. You are driving on the road, you express it on to another commuter who gives you a bad drive. You reach home, you express it on your spouse. So this is how, this you can see, the anger happened at 10 o'clock. It remained there unexpressed until 4 o'clock. And when you were driving, somebody gave you a bad drive or did not give you a pass, to a clear pass to go forward, you express it there. But it was not fully expressed, consciously expressed. You express it on your spouse. So in the same way, there are certain persons who are born with this kind of approach. And still, if it is just as I said, in the morning it happened 10 o'clock, 5 hours after, it's still there. So if it is, you have not gotten the opportunity to express it in a creative manner, it will continue in the next life. Still in this life, you are repeating the same pattern with the same person. You are not aware. You are fully unaware. The boss said that it should have been dissolved right there. If you had analyzed whatever he said, he was right, because the work has to be finished and presented. But for some reason or the other, for negligence or anything, it could not be finished, and the opportunity was lost because the proposal was to be presented by this time, but we delayed. So if you analyze, but in the moments of anger, when somebody is saying, we never ponder, we never introspect that somewhere I have been at fault. If you are able to see that, yes, I have been at fault, I could have done it better and avoided this situation, then you can dissolve it. But unconsciously, because he is the boss, there is a conflict between the employer and employee. Always there is a conflict. The employer thinks against the employee, and employee thinks that employer is exploiting him. There is not a harmony. We have not sown the seeds of that. Then there was no possibility of expressing it, to be aware of it. So it is expressed unconsciously. Sometimes you suddenly see a stranger and you become angry. He has not done anything. You have not even met him before, but you feel depressed or angry or violent. Sometimes the same thing happens. You see someone and all of a sudden an emotional energy arises in you towards that person. You have never met the person before. You are meeting the person for the first time. But all of a sudden, the emotions, they is rising in you. So you feel within company, seeing someone, you feel depressed, or the same thing can happen with a particular circumstance and situation. All of a sudden, everything is going normally. Next moment, there is a depression in you. You are feeling saddened. You just want to escape that situation or that person. You feel bad. Why? It is an old pattern. Energy never dies. It transforms and changes pattern. It remains. So if you express it, you are following into an eternal chain. Someday you will have to come out of it. And the whole thing is useless. It is a wastage. Do not start the chain reaction. Then the ordinary alternative is to suppress it. And when you suppress it, you are creating a wound within you. Suppression means you are creating a wound within you. That will be a suffering. So if it is allowed to store at the body level, then body will suffer. If it is allowed at the psychological level, so psychologically you will suffer, you create problems. And the anger will go on being suppressed wherever it gets an opportunity to suppress, at the body, at the physical level, at the level of psychology as well, and it will become a volcano of anger, ready to be expressed at any moment. So it may be that you are not expressing your anger, but now your personality has become angry. Certain people you see, they carry a false face, but deep down there is their whole gesture, or whatever you use the word, is angry. There is no eruptions. No one will see you beating someone or being violent, but now your whole personality will become angry, because so much anger within has poisoned you. Now whatsoever you do, the angry part is there. It expresses itself in any way. You are writing something, your expression of the writing will be angry. So when someone, or when you are writing anything, you are cooking something, the streaks, the emotions of anger will be there in the food. You are writing, the writing will be aggressive, violent. Wherever it will get an opportunity, it will express itself. The choice of the words that you will choose. You are speaking, the choice of the words, your gestures, your expressions will express anger at that moment. It is a very subtle phenomena. So it may be that you are not expressing your anger, but your whole personality has become angry, and there is no eruption, but no one will see you beating someone or being violent, but your whole personality become angry, because so much anger is within you, is expresses the way you put on your clothes, It will be an expression of anger. You are taking off your clothes. The clothes are innocent. Your shoes are innocent. And your pen, everything is innocent. But they will be subject to your anger. You take out your clothes in a very violent manner. You do the other things in that way. So many things you look at yourself and decide. The shoes you fling here and there. You'd never put the shoes in the right place. Clothes, the clothes that has given you the protection and elegance throughout the day. How do you treat them when you return home? You will be violent with your food. You will not be loving. If you are opening the door, the angry part will be there and you will be violent with the door. You will slam the door. Everything that you do, you are turning the keys in the door. You will slam the door. Sometimes you would have observed that someone whom you are giving a ride slams the door. So sometimes it happens you are driving on the road, an expression of anger comes, your car has gone into the hole. You are driving very crazy. You do not have a control on the vehicle. It happens. Things like these happen many times. One day in the morning, it happened, Mullah Nasruddin was passing down the street, shouting oaths and saying very angrily, the devil will take possession of your spirit and beats will go in your belly. And so on and so forth he was going on. One man looked at him and said, Mullah, whom are you cursing so much early in the morning? Mullah said, who? I don't know. But don't worry, someone will turn up sooner or later. When you are expressing, you are in an angry mode, it does not matter. Like Mullah Nasruddin, early in the morning, walking on the street, and he was taking the oaths and saying very angrily, devil will take possession of you. Sometimes you see the religious people walking on the street and doing those kind of statements. Your spirit, devil will take possession of your spirit and beats will grow in your belly, and so on and so forth, very angrily. If you are filled with anger, this happens. You are just waiting. Sooner or later someone will turn up. You are driving angrily. You are angry because of the behavior of your employer, your boss. You are driving down the street. All of a sudden you see a person, they trying to cross the road, and you have to suddenly mash the brakes. Your car is air conditioned, window is up, and you start cursing. You start saying things which are not necessary at that moment. The first preference is to be given to the pedestrians, to the children, to the bicycles, to the carts, all those. If it is there, when you see the people, sometimes they do not give you the opportunity to pass. And we make remarks, we make comments. If you are filled with anger, this happens, you will be just waiting. Sooner or later someone will turn, and inside there is a volcano, there is a fire is bubbling, and just waiting for some object to express it, you slam the door. Violently, you turn on the fan. You push the bed violently. You are changing the bed sheet, changing the pillowcase, or arranging the things in your cupboard or on your dressing table. How do you touch them? Do you touch them lovingly? Do you touch them angrily, violently? You take it out, wipe them, and put it properly. So it all depends upon what kind of gesticulation, gesture you have, an angry gesture. Inside you are bubbling with fire, just waiting for some object or some medium. Medium could be an object, medium could be your clothes to express your anger, medium could be your anything. It can be a person, someone who should help you to unburden yourself. So you unburden yourself through the objects. You handle them, you are walking in the kitchen, you handle them. You are placing the pots into the sink to wash. You put them violently. So that violence becomes a way of your life, whatsoever you are doing. Slamming the door, turning on the tap, hanging the clothes, whatsoever it is. Then your whole personality becomes angry or violent or sexual, everything. You can express sex, you can suppress sex, then the suppressed sex becomes your whole personality. Many people have sex suppressed in them. It expresses in many forms. I am saying this, someone will ask, do you see this anger or sex suppressed in me? You have to see for yourself. Then wherever you look, you will see sex. Sigmund Freud, anything, he will correlate immediately to sex. Anything, doesn't matter, dreams, anything, he will correlate it to sex, because sex is the greatest thing that is suppressed in human beings because of the society, because of the religious upbringing and all these things. Your whole personality becomes an expression of that. Then in whatsoever you touch, you will see sex. Whatsoever you do will be a sexual act. You can suppress sex very easily. It is not difficult to suppress sex. It is not difficult to suppress anger, but then sex will spread. Anger will spread all over your body, through your eyes, through your ears, through your every expression in your body will be an expression of anger. It will be an expression of sex. It will spread over you. Your every fiber of the cell, every fiber, every cell will become sexual. Look at those who claim themselves to be celibates. Their minds becomes totally sexual. They dream about sex. They fight with sex constantly, and they fantasize about sex. If the sex is suppressed, there are older people, very old. They are having the thick glasses. They cannot see the things easily. But in the newspaper, they are reading, they are looking for those news clips. Those news clips where the news is relating to sex, violence, rape, and all those things. what kind of news appeals to you when you are looking at the newspaper, or you are looking at watching the videos, or on the television sets. What kind of channels appeal to you the most is an expression of your inner feelings, your personality, what kind of angry personality you are. So the violent movies will appeal to you. If sex is suppressed, anything relating to that will appeal to you the most. Look at the celibates, the mind becomes totally sexual, they dream about sex, they fight with sex constantly. At the same time, they fight and they fantasize sex. They are obsessed. That which could not have been, that could have been natural, has become perverted. If you suppress it, you create a chain. If you suppress, you create wounds, and both are not good, whether you suppress it or. So you can create a chain reaction. As case of anger, you express anger on someone who is subordinate to you, he will express it on to someone whom you can easily transfer. You suppress sex, you suppress anger, it goes as a cancerous wound. Certain part of it is expressed in the body, certain part of it is expressed in the psychology, and it becomes perverted. If you express it, you create a chain. If you suppress it, you create the wounds, and both are not good. So Tantra says, whatsoever you do, for example, if you are angry, when you feel that anger is coming, be uninterruptedly aware. Don't suppress it and do not express it. Normally what we do in Zen, they go and chop the wood, or they are continuously chopping the wood. So there is no possibility of any kind of energy being stored into you. They are constantly doing the hard work. So the people who are woodcutters, you will hardly find that they are angry. They are very loving, because no way they can allow the energy to suppress in them, to be stored in them. If the energy is, sometimes you find any child is overactive because his energy is being stored and not finding. So you can be uninterruptedly aware that anger is coming into me. This desire for sex is arising, so do not suppress it, do not express it. On the third thing, take the third alternative. Be suddenly aware that anger is coming in. I need to be silent, I need to be meditative. This awareness changes the energy that is moving as anger into a different energy. The anger becomes compassion. Sex, vasana. The word for sex is vasana. In the company of meditation, or in the company of one who is aware, awakened, vasana becomes upasana. Upasana means prayer. Vasana means lust. So vasana becomes upasana. This awareness changes the energy that is moving as anger into different energy. It becomes compassion. Passion becomes compassion. Vasana becomes upasana. The very energy that is known as anger becomes compassion. Through alertness, there is this transmutation of the energy. The same energy which was known as, the same energy becomes celibacy. Spiritually, through awareness, the form of energy changes. Neither the expression or suppression is good, but we find the expression, either suppression, and if we are moving towards the religious way, we try to express it in the gym or so. So if you are angry, I would like to go and do workout. The alertness or meditativeness or awareness is the alchemy. Through it, everything changes. Try it and you will come to know when you bring alertness, awareness to any mood, any feeling, any energy, it changes. Its nature and quality changes. It is never the same again. And a new opening is there, new route opens, new passage opens. It is not going backward again to the same place where it came from. From where it came, it is not moving outward. The horizontal movement, horizontal along the, like see, horizontal means chain reaction. The anger is in A expresses it and it goes to B expresses it to C expresses it to D. This is swimming. You are swimming on the surface of the water. With alertness, it becomes vertical movement, like diving. You dive from the same spot. Your place is not changing. Depth is changing. From a position of A1 means 10 feet, it is going from 1 feet. It is going from 0 feet, it is going to 1 feet inside, 2 feet inside, 3 feet, 4, 5, 6, it goes deeper and deeper into you. You have to go deeper into you. The root is going into the surf, into the ground. Then all of a sudden the tree will shoot up. And the tree will become healthy. It must go roots. It becomes, it goes down and then it moves upward. And that is what happens at that moment. This is a different dimension. A bullock cart moves horizontally, a plane moves vertically upward. How does bullock cart moves on the surface? A vehicle moves on the surface. Plane moves on the surface, on the runway, and then it goes this way. So your energy begins to move this way. In swimming, it is going like a cart. That I would like to continue in tomorrow's session. And when I'll tell you a Sufi parable that someone was presented, a Sufi used to say that someone was presented a plane, a very small aircraft, by a friend who was a great king. So this parable, I'll take it tomorrow in the continuation of this. But at the same time, remember, through awareness, alchemy, alertness or awareness is the alchemy. With this, everything changes. So, do you want to bring about change in your life, or you want to remain the same way? The normal way, either expression or suppression, is the only two routes that you know. You don't know the third, which is transcendence. Transcendence is you are neither expressing nor suppressing, but you are aware of that there is anger in you, there is this in you, and in that very moment, its form changes. Only this much for this morning. Until tomorrow. Take care and do have a pleasant day.